Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Today we shall discuss a poem of Pew second year on children by Khalil Gibran. On children. The poem is going to tell the parenting concept by Khalil Gibran. Khalil Gibran, American Lebanese poet who has a profound vision and farsightedness in society. His most celebrated work, The Prophet, is one among the best known works in the world. And today we shall take a poem from that, The Prophet, on children. Dear students, what are the expectations of we children from our parents? First question. The second one, what our parents expect from us and what we together need to do for the progress of children and so that the parents can be a supportive. So obviously in a society like India, we have complexity. Our parents are giving their best to their children. But despite of these things, in nowadays, the monopoly has come in the educational systems where the parents are trying to put their aspirations, their dreams, their expectations, and moreover to these, their unfulfilled dreams on children. They want to get fulfilled what they would have wanted to be up from their children. The very moment the birth nurturing the child, how we can give the best to our children, in what way we can be a supportive system to upbring our children. The poet is very clear in his ideas and in his thoughts. So here he had some objective, he has some no, right the views that he is going to share with us. And we know very well Khalil Gibran is a profound visionary poet, and through this poem, he wants to tell the concept of parenting. The concept of parenting is not as good as we see in the Western countries, in India, right? Every now and then, the major decisions are taken by the parents only, right from the education to the adulthood and then to the marriagehood. Everything will be decided by the parents. Parents play very, very active role. They sideline aspirations, dreams, longings, everything. They try to put the ideas of the child into a small pit, and they try to put their own aspirations, their own expectations, their own dreams, and through their children. They want to get fulfilled. They want to put that in their thoughts. The very thought process of the children should be very independent. It should be aware, or it should not be a hurdlesome. That is what the poet wants to say here on children. So today, so many of you are enjoying with your parents. You are listening this audio or video with parents. So your parents are by the beside you. They can also find out what they can give to you the best. The poet is going to tell through this poem. And as it is greatly said, every child is a father tomorrow, a mother tomorrow. But it is for the parents. The poet is here. First, let me read out the poem, and then I will go by line explaining. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of the lives longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. For they have their own thoughts. They may house their bodies, but not souls. Their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer says the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for the gladness, for even all he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves the bow that is stable. The very beginning of the poem, we can find what happens. This poem is all about imagination. You have to imagine who is the speaker and who is the listener and to whom this poem is addressed. As we all of us know, the prophet, a holy person, and this poem is being narrated through the mouth of a holy person, the prophet, and to whom a mother who held a babe, she held the baby, a newly born baby, and she wanted to enlighten herself what best I can give to my child. So she went to the poet Khalil Gibran and asked, please tell us something, a profound vision of you about on children, about children, how I shall bring up my child, what best I can give to my child. Please guide me, suggest me your valuable thoughts. So the poet started to narrate the poem, his ideas, his thoughts through the prophet, through the mouth of prophet. But at the very beginning, the two lines is a visualization. You have to vision, you have to imagine. See, and a woman who held a babe against her bosom. A woman, she held a babe. Babe here refers to baby, small baby, a newly born one. She held in her arms, like at the bosom, at the breast, and she went to him and said, speak to us of children. So she is requesting the poet. She is requesting the poet, please talk something, tell us something about about children. Speak to us of children. To tell us, she is requested, please tell us something about children. I don't have any clear picture how to nurture my child. So you please guide me. And he said, here he refers to the prophet, the speaker, right? And the listener is requesting. Who is the listener? A woman. A woman is requesting the poet, please tell us of children. And here he is going to tell. And the very first word, what he has uttered, your children are not your children. A very complex sentence. Your children are not your children. Don't go in the other way. It means that your children are not your children. It means that he had certain views about his statement. Doesn't mean that they are the neighbor children. They are your children. But here he has this statement. And that the rest of the poem is explanation of this line. Is the rest of the lines in the poem, what you can see on the board, is all the explanation, your children are not your children. See, They are the sons and daughters of the lives longing for itself. The first line here, you can find out in this poem what he means to say. He has made the life as personification. He had personified life's longing for itself. So here he is saying, your children, it means your sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They are not yours. You have given only the biological physical body, but not thoughts. Biologically, you are the parents, but you are not the parent of the child's thought. So they are of themselves. They are the life's longing for itself, themselves. They are living, they are the children of themselves. That means that they have their own life. They come through you, but not from you. Very good. The poet is saying very clearly, they come from you. They come through you, but not from you. Through you. You are just a mechanical birth giver. But they have not carried. They have carried only the biological structure, the human body. But they have not carried the soul. They have not carried the thoughts. They have their own independent thoughts. They are taking their own thoughts. They are going to give the birth to the new thoughts. They are going to be the life's longings, but not from you. Through they come through you, but not from you. And further, and though they are with you, at they belong not to you. Very good. The next line it says, they are with you. They may live with you in your home. They may share everything, but they belong not to you. They don't think that, don't claim your authority over your children. You don't have any rights. You don't have any rights reserved with you to claim this son is mine. No, he is yours, but you cannot dictate your thoughts, your dreams upon himself. So here he says, though they are with you, at they belong not to you. Very meaningful line. It is a very contrasting one. It's contrasting because one part of the line says they are with you, and the other part of the line says they are not belonging to you. They do not belong to you. They belong not to you. At one point, it is a very positive statement, and there's another point, it is the negative. So he says, they do not belong to you, they are from you. They may live with you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. Very good. This line applies to everyone. So the poet says that you can give your love. Many parents, they say, they make a complaint. I do this for my child. I do that for, I have sacrificed this, that, these all the things they say, they keep on saying. So he says that you can do your love. Give them your love. Give them your care, your veneration, but not your thoughts. Don't try to transfer your thoughts. Don't try to inculcate your thoughts in the minds of the children, because there is a better clarification in the next line. For they have their own thoughts, because they have carried their own thoughts along with them. No need to feed on your thoughts upon them. You can feed your love. You can do your best. You can do best. You can do your all the things. Economical support, finance, right? Moral support. You can do everything, but you cannot give your thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not souls. Physically, you can capture them, but mentally you can't capture them. Physically, you can ask them to do all the materialistic lifestyle, materialistic program, wealth, but you cannot surrender. You cannot capture, or you cannot imprison their souls. You can give the shelter to their, here house means shelter. You may shelter their bodies, but not your souls. You cannot surrender. You cannot, not right. You can imprison their souls. They have their own thoughts. They are independent. There is a generation gap always. So what you think of today, your child will think of tomorrow's. He is born with extra foresightedness. So you be better careful about your own thoughts. Further, their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Very good. You just think of that. You just think of today's. You just think of how to get settled. But your child thinks of tomorrow. If Sachin Tendulkar's father would have said, just become something, pursue a degree or any graduation, then go and settle with FDC or SDC, or then just pursue engineering, we would not have seen the world's best batsman. So he has his own thoughts. He has his own, right, aspirations. Similarly, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. It means your children always live in the next tomorrow. You are thinking of today's, but they are thinking of tomorrow. You cannot dictate them. You cannot monitor their thoughts. They are free of your monitoring. They can go far beyond. So here he says, their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Not even in your dreams, you can find that your children, what they are thinking of. You are thinking only your aspirations are very meager, very small. Whereas the child's, it's a very, very bigger one. Don't try to capture and surrender and try to make a restriction, a bondage. You let it free, let it go far beyond. So here he says that it should not be what prejudice. It should not be right lined one. It should be set free, because you cannot even dream what they think of themselves, what their imagination is, what their expectation is, that what they have their own dreams of their life, right? Let them live independently, let them make their own career, let them choose their own course of right learning, let them make their own right best, because you people are not going to lead the life of your children. They are going to lead their own life. Next, you may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. Ah, very good line. What he has a very good right view of life, right? So he says, you may strive to be like them. You can be like them, but don't try to make them like you, right? You can have a spunky hairstyle, but you cannot ask them to have a hairstyle of the Devanam. It's outdated. So you don't try to put your own styles, your own life's expectation on children. You may strive to be like them. You can live a life like them. You can be very sportive, but you cannot make them to lead a life very ideal. They have their own course of life, but don't try. He is suggesting, but do seek not. Don't try to make them like you. You are just thinking of very small. They have their own life. For life goes not backward, not tires with yesterday. Ah, yes, very good. And he says that for life always goes not backward. It's not going to be backward. It's going to be very forward. Day by day, every challenge is going to be challenged. Every height is going to be challenged in this right, challenging atmosphere. So the poet is saying very clearly, it's not going to hang with the yesterday, or it's not going to have in a reverse gear. See, only in the cars you have reverse gear, the motor vehicles, but in life you don't have the reverse gear. You cannot ask your child to live the life what you have lived in your 20s. No. Always, often we have seen the parents saying, when I was like you, I used to do this. You lived your life. That is your life. Let him do what he wished to do. You are the boss. Here, he had used metaphors. What are the two metaphors? One, right, bow. Another one is arrow. So he had used the metaphor here to suggest his ideas. One is bow, another one is arrow. Bows and arrows are the metaphors he had used in the poem. So metaphor is a figure of speech which is implied meaning. It has an implication. So the implication here, bows are you people. Bows are the parents and arrows are the children. So here he is saying very common, right? He has used two metaphors to convey his message, the message of parenting. What you are just a pathfinder. You are just a path on which your children will walk. They will make their own destination. You just be a pathfinder. Don't try to make your path as their path. You are just a pathfinder. So here he says, bows are from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. So arrows are the children. Children are the you used metaphorically for arrows. So they go where the God will send. Here, God is the archer. Archer, the God. God knows where to send your children. So you be only the stiff, firm, a strong bow from which your children can go. If how the farness of the arrow is decided by how stiff the bow is. So you be strong. You can lay a good foundation. You can lay a good foundation on which your children will stand. They build the career, the bright future. So here he says, bows are the parents and arrows are the children. And here he is God. God knows where to send your children, to which destination. You might have seen the movie Three Idiots. How the parents are trying to put the another some hero, the you be an engineer, though he wanted to become a photographer. So they used to keep on feeding the child, right, consistently, forcibly, where he is very uncomfortable with the dreams given by his parents. So here he says, don't be like that. Next, the archer sees the mark upon the path of infinite. The word infinite is there. There is no finiteness, limitless. Sky is the only limit for the children. They can reach to any height if they wish to reach. So don't try to limit the height of the child. Let them go independently. Let them blossom as big as they want. So here he says, the archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite and bends you. Here he achieves in capsule. Here he means God. He bends you with his might, his strength. He bends you so that you can be a good bow, stiff, strong, solid, that your arrows will go straight. What the best thing what parents can do is only the support. What today's children are lacking They are lacking the support by their children, parents, right? So we belong to, today the children are belonging to the period of yes no generation. Yes, no, we belong to no generation, but today children, they are belong to yes no generation. So whatever the parents are trying to do, they are giving. What the child wants is freedom, independent of the thoughts. So the archer sees the mark upon the path of the incarnate and bends you. You here, you refers to parents. So here he says the parents with his might that his arrows may go swift and far. So with his power is trying to bend you so that his with his might here, power. With his power is trying to bend you that his arrows. So here the poet is saying that his arrows means your children are the gifts of the God, and God knows where to send them, and God, his arrows may go swift and far to the destination, very far. For not in from your life, it means in a career they can reach the greater heights. You have limited dreams. You are just thinking my son should be an engineer, after that he will get married to the girl whom I select, then he will lead a beautiful life. But he has his own aspirations. He wanted to be an IAS officer, he wants to go to the power where he can do best to the society. So you don't try to put a margin for that. It should be marginless, so that he can go to the greater heights. You let your, at the concluding lines in the poem, let your bending in arches hand be for gladness. Let your bending, let me your bending here, let your bending means let your sacrifice and let your support, let your right, no, suggestions, compromise be for the gladness. Don't be upset if the child does not listen to you, if the child does not make your dream as his dream, if it does not look through your eyeball, don't be upset. Be for the gladness. Be prepared to accept, so that your child should have its own independent. Live independent, think independent, become independent. So this is what the concept of the poem. Let it be have its own. If it gets success, it says. But if it fails, then don't be upset. It's going to learn a new lesson. It's going to learn how to bounce back in life. So it will learn its own course through ups and downs, with the fall and rise. It's going to have its own solidified, solid life where it can stand firm. So you people, you just be happy, be glad to bend yourself, to compromise yourself, to sacrifice yourself, to give yourself, to uplift, to bring up children. Don't try to be an hurdle. If your child wishes to be a sportsman, try to support the child. Don't kill its artistic qualities. I think many of you children might have observed, and when you are small, you had a lot of dreams to be an artist, painting. Many of us have very good skill of paintings, but as we grow, we will forget those skills, our passion, because our parents try and our teachers try to put their wishes upon us. So here he says that only especially to the children parents. So here he says that Let your hand, let your bending in the archer, archer here, God. So in the God's hand, be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrows that flies, so he loves the bow that is stable. At a concluding session is telling you people, as the poet loves the child, which goes very far. Similarly, he also loves the parents who are very stable in their life. So here in the poem, it is very clear. There are two metaphors he had used. One is bow, another one is arrow. So in this poem, the poet is trying to tell the concept of parenting, how to nurture the child, how to bring up the child, how to develop the independentness of the child. The poet is very clear right from the beginning to the end of the poet. He says that here he says God loves both. God loves the child, God loves the parent as well. God loves only to those parents who are very supportive to their child, and the child should be independent, and it should be, because nowadays we have seen many parents, they try to put their aspiration upon the child. So the child should be independent of all the thoughts. Let it grow independently and reach a greater heights. This is what the poet wants to tell us. The poet is very clear cut in his idea, right? So in the poem, in the poem, we have certain things which are supposed to bear in mind for our longer period. One, you be happy. Just as being a parent, you be happy to be a supportive, to be a path to your children, to be a supportive element, to give your support. Don't try to put your ideas upon the child. That's one point. The second one, independentness. The poet is trying to tell, let it be independent. Let the child be independent. Let it learn independently. Right? Let it lead its life. Let it fall or rise on its own. You don't try to put your thoughts. Let it go independent. And the next, what he says, as a parent, we have limited foresighted. We think the very limited passion, because we are very possessive about our children. We are very, very possessive. We wish my child should be like this. There are many parents who put an objection to each and everything. When the child wants to go for the music class, no. Music class are a waste class. You go to the mathematics tuition. You should be a doctor. You should be an engineer. The Three Idiots movie is the best example for this, where the child is independent. When it is independent, it can give the best to the society and even best to itself. It can justify only when it is free, but other else, it is going to lead a life which is being set by you. It should be independent, and it has its own aspiration for the tomorrow. So let it live independently. And here, the word infinite in the poem will say that you have limit, but the child is limitless. Infinity is there. Infiniteness is there. There is no finiteness on the aims and objectives of the child's with related to the future. Thus, it has its own. You cannot try to put you cannot try to patch up or to surrender. Whereas, so that the next tree says that you can house. It means you can house. You may say that I have given all the quality, all the necessary elements and the materialistic things to the child. Now you can only give the materialistic life to the child, but the child has his own dreams for the tomorrow. You can give a beautiful house, you can give a bungalow, car, everything, but the child has his own. So this is what all of the poet is telling to us and to the woman who went to the prophet and requesting him to tell about their children, about nurturing. Now, when it comes to the point in the examination point of view, the several questions can be raised, especially with the 1 mark. Whom the bow referred to? The bow refers to the parents. To whom the archer refers to? Archer refers to the god. To whom the arrows are referred? The arrows are referred to children. What the child, what the parent cannot see, the parents cannot see the tomorrow of the child. What does not go backward, because life does not go to backward, right? Right, where the child is sent, the child is sent swift in the future. How does the child go? In the archer's hand, swift and far. And to whom he is asking for to be glad, the child. And the poet is requesting the parents to be glad in the hands of the archer. And this is all about 1 mark question. But when it comes for the 4 mark question, so the question may be, bring out the ideas of Khalil Gibran about children, on children, from his poem on children, right? Or what are the modernistic views of Gibran on children? Or what best the parents can be to the children? So you have to explain line by line, right? Right from the beginning, what the poet is saying. Life's longing for itself. So here he says that your children are not your children. It means they are from you, but not for you. So it goes on like this. For 4 marks, at least you have to write 10 lines and 80 to 100 words. So you can drag the poem, you can explain the poem line by line, bit by bit, but you have to keep certain words in your mind so that you can quote the original words from the poem. Like you may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. Very beautiful line, heavyweight is line in the poem. It's a clear cut message to the parent by Gibran on how they can be, how they should be. They means parents, how they should be. It means the poet is saying them, you to the children or to the parents, you can live the life like with the children, but you cannot make them like you. So this is what the poet says in the poem. The next, he is going to give his clear explanation in very next line, and he gives that life does not go backward nor tarries with the yesterday. You are the bows from which your children are as living arrows are sent forth. You are going to die in the tomorrow, in the today, but your children have tomorrow. You are not going to live the life of your children. So let them decide how they wish to spend their days. You just be as a path. You are just with them for the today, but not for the tomorrow. So here in this line is very clear about that. So don't try to put your personal wishes, personal aspirations. Don't try to tell, my dear son, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be an engineer, I want you to be something else. Don't try. Tell your parent or children, my dear child, my dear daughter, my dear son, you should be what you wish to become. If you keep on putting all these things on your children, then definitely children are not going to give a clear justification. They are not going to come up with a right justification or uh, with their best on the dreams that were fed by you. So let them be independent. So this is all about the poem on children by Khalil Gibran. In the next class, we shall see a new topic, a new one. We shall continue the grammar class. Till then, take care. See you.